Zao, the grandparent of all the kiting cruisers in this game, but the one that can still cook on a master chef level. But what does it come with? Whole tree with just one exception is armed with golden standard 203mm guns, accurate on any range with decent reload. IGN HE on these combines great base span and fire chance, making them perfect for a grill party with your friends and family. Torpedoes are also present on these cruisers. They are great at giving enemies some refreshments in form of water. Their range and firing angles make them more of a nice addition rather than your main focus. Concealment and maneuverability of the whole tree are one of the best you can get for a cruiser this size. Armor pattern, in my opinion, is one of the best a kiting cruiser can get. However, the HP is pretty low. AA defense is lacking as well. From consumables we get Hydro, that if you are crazy enough you can replace for defensive AA. Fighter, that from tier 9 above can be replaced for a spotter plane, that I highly recommend you to do. From tier 9 we also get Standard Heal. Above tier 5 we also get special thing called Submarine Surveillance. That allows us to detect submarines that are underwater and on periscope depths within the range. It's basically the same thing that normal submarines get, but we have limited usages. The whole tech tree of Zao is played almost exactly the same, with same build, guns, and only thing that actually is changing is that the size is adjusted to the tier. But I said there's one exception, which is Mogami. And it is an exception because it's played with 155mm guns instead of 203s, which are surprisingly making the ship even better cook. In terms of builds and upgrades, there are two ways of playing the Zao. I played the safe way that I highly suggest new players to try. But if you want to try something new on your Zao, there is something called the Lighthouse build. I'm gonna talk about it. So let's go first and check out the captain packs. The core of my standard build is Demolition Expert, Adrenaline Rush Superintendent, Survivability Expert, and Concealment Expert. We basically focus our build around having a lot of fire chance while being able to just go dark and live up a little bit longer. I like to run outnumbered instead of top grade gunner, since I don't want to be within my concealment range, ergo making top grade gunner obsolete. I really like incoming fire alert perk since it allows me to make the swings more well timed, but I leave the last 6 points up to you. In terms of upgrades, we've got first three slots are gonna be pretty standard. Main elements modification 1, engine room protection, and aiming system modification 1. In terms of fourth slot, I highly suggest you run steering gears modification to make the swings a little bit easier, but I leave this slot to your actual preferences. You can run propulsion modification, no problem. Concealment system modification 1, I think is mandatory as long as you're not playing the Lighthouse build. The Lighthouse build would require you to play with steering gears modification 2. In terms of the sixth slot, both reload mode and range mode are viable. I prefer the range mode since I like having even go with more modern kiting cruisers, but there's nothing stopping you from running the reload mode as well. In terms of legendary mode for this ship, well, it's okay, it's decent, it's basically all a preference. In terms of signals, I highly suggest you run the detonation flag and the two ones that increase your fire chance. But honestly, you don't really need any of them apart from the detonation one. I highly suggest you run the detonation flag. You're running the detonation flag, aren't you? For Lighthouse build captain perks, you really don't want to have the concealment anymore. You instead will run heavy HE shells for more damage. Top grade gunner is also gonna be viable then, since your concealment is gonna skyrocket. The goal playing the Lighthouse build is to deal as much damage with your main battery on range, since you're gonna be detected from basically space. This is something that I don't recommend for new players, someone who wants to try playing Zao a little bit differently. Well, I'm not gonna stop you. Okay, now let's go to combat. We are playing a kiting cruiser. Our strategy will be to utilize our concealment with combination of maneuverability and gun range to slowly cook up anyone who gets close. We cannot really make any pushes ourselves. We need to be backwards towards the enemy and swing our ship to shoot them. How to swing? Basically, when we are up towards the enemy, we wait for them to fire at us. When the shells are gonna miss us because we are angled and we are dodging, we have this window when we can actually swing our ship so we can fire at the enemy with all our guns and then go back to the previous angle. This way we reduce the damage by maximum where we are actually doing a lot of damage ourselves. Our guns are very effective at grilling all classes of ships. Putting hydro like cooking gloves keep us safe from torpedoes, while being above 13 kilometers of range gives us enough time and space to dodge incoming fire. If it happens that you run out of range or enemies, go dark and get back to range and repeat. We need to be moving swiftly between knives and fire to be efficient. If enemy submarine overextends and we see the pain, we can go dark and try to rush it down with our submarine surveillance consumable, spotting them so that our allies can enjoy boiling that underwater sausage.
Know your fucking place, trash!
Torpedoes on our ship are more like deny area tools rather than the source of damage. They hit hard though, and can be used without you being detected, so they are okay. Angles, however, make them kinda meh. In terms of practices and tips, remember to not show broadside to enemies and always be on the move. We cannot play with acceleration like other cruisers, especially the French. We can still play a little bit with the speed, between 1/4 and 4. Do not forget about your AP shells. 2 or 3mm guns can still hurt cruisers when they give you broadside, or if you're forced to brawl them. Use them more like a fine seasoning rather than main focus of the dish. You can actually fill up a role of a destroyer when playing as Zao. This is more of a ninja style, yet it's actually proved to be very effective in this current matchup. And I just go into the middle, not detected, grab this and run away. We will see, come on, I believe in myself. It's like the DDs spawned on the sides, enemies shoot as well. So unless one is gonna go to the middle, and I believe the one over there is gonna go for this buff, and the other one is gonna try to contest this. Guys, it happened, and I'm not punished for it. And last one, do not abandon the flank you spawned in for one with more space that's more comfortable. You're gonna be doing just fine regardless. Do not, however, try to hug the island. This is not the ship that can actually perform well when doing so. In summary, we are playing old ship and many of the new ships are on average stronger than us, but only on paper. Zao is the one who started it all for them, like an old sensei. And once you master fighting style of Zao line cruisers, you can start living in dojo and earn a living teaching others that want to be like you. I'm still not there cause for now I only live in dojo. See you next time, signing out.